Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. The live began as usual, full of laughter, jokes, and Jungkook being relaxed and unfiltered. Everything felt light. Until suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. That night, Jungkook said something that didn't sound light at all. He had received death threats. This wasn't rumor, not fandom drama. It was about safety. In the same broadcast, the BTS member admitted there were many things he wanted to say, but couldn't. That if he spoke fully honestly, the impact could be huge. The question is simple. Why does honesty feel so dangerous for a global idol? And why was the public busy discussing something else? That night wasn't just a live. It was a confession. When Jungkook turned on that stream, he did something rare in the idol industry. He was honest. No script. No mask. No carefully protected, perfect image. He spoke about pressure, about hate, and about something far darker than rumors. He received death threats. Pause and let that sink in. Threats. Murder. This is not cheap gossip or minor controversy for clicks. This is about a human being's safety. Yet instead of focusing on that, part of the conversation shifted to something else. Smoking, as if that were the real issue. As if a personal habit mattered more than the fact that someone's life was being threatened. Why are we more comfortable judging personal choices than confronting the reality that hatred has crossed a line? Jungkook is not just a global superstar. He is a young man who grew up under relentless scrutiny. Every move recorded. Every word analyzed. Every mistake magnified. And he hasn't carried that alone. Park Jimin, his fellow member, has also received threats since debut, repeatedly for years. Two artists who dedicated their lives to music have had to live alongside fear. Death threats are not abstract. They plant anxiety, create fear, and force someone to question their safety daily. That should have been the headline. That deserved empathy. Instead, the conversation drifted. During the live, Jungkook said there must be many people who support him, hate him, want to see him fall, or even hurt him. But what can I do? I don't care, he said. It sounded strong. But strength often comes from wounds touched too many times. He wasn't dramatizing or seeking sympathy. He was stating his reality. In moments like this, full translations shared among international fans matter. Without context, the most serious parts can be minimized or erased from the public narrative. The fact that two BTS members have faced serious threats for years, yet the issue rarely becomes central discussion, says something about our priorities. We are quick to judge, slow to empathize. Idols are not fictional characters. They are not robots immune to fear. They are human. And when someone calmly admits they are living under threats, the least we can do is listen. But the live wasn't only about threats. Other thoughts lingered. One thing must be clear. Jungkook was not sad, not crying, not depressed. He appeared calm. He laughed, sang, joked with his friend and older brother. He admitted he had been drinking a little, and that's not a problem. He's an adult. He can drink. He can laugh. He can go live if he wants. He wasn't drunk as some claimed. His speech was clear. His tone steady. He was fully aware. He looked fine. And that's what made it compelling. Amid laughter and songs, there were sentences that didn't feel like jokes. There was weight in them. A deeper honesty. At one point, he said he couldn't truly speak right now, then asked, "How many people in this world can really be honest?" His friend replied, "No one." Jungkook continued that if it weren't for the company, he might have said everything, but if he did, the impact could be huge. He emphasized not blaming the company, saying they are neutral and good. Those weren't random words. He admitted there was something he wanted to express fully but couldn't. He didn't sound dramatic. He sounded thoughtful. We're talking about HYBE, one of the largest entertainment companies in South Korea. Not a small agency shaken by one rumor. So when he said his words could have a big impact, he wasn't referring to something trivial. Importantly, he defended the company. He didn't attack or blame. He simply acknowledged boundaries. We forget, no matter how natural idols appear on camera, they operate within a system. Contracts, legal clauses, public image, business interests. Jungkook is a global figure. Every word carries weight. If he revealed something sensitive, personal, professional, or industry-related, it could spark major controversy. There was nuance in his tone. Not sadness. Not desperation. More like quiet frustration. A feeling of, there's something I want to say, but I can't. And that is powerful. We often say, Jungkook is free. He does whatever he wants. In many ways, that's true. But total freedom? Almost impossible for a global superstar. It's also important not to jump to extreme theories. We don't know what he meant. It could be simple, industry-related, deeply personal and not ready to share. Maybe one day he will. Maybe he won't. And that remains his right. Another part that sparked debate was when he discussed smoking. Objectively, there was no insult or disrespect. Just a casual conversation. He even joked that his friend should quit smoking to sing better. Yet from that small joke, a storm began. He addressed it directly and said he had quit. He admitted he used to smoke often, it was part of his past. But he explained he worked hard to stop, especially for performance. Smoking affects breathing, stamina, vocal stability. For a global performer, that matters. There was no glorification. There was awareness and growth. He is nearly 30, a grown man. He wasn't promoting smoking or encouraging imitation. He was transparent about his journey. Yet in idol culture, which demands near-flawless images, even admitting a past habit can become a scandal. Honesty gets treated like failure. He also emphasized that his biggest motivation to keep improving in singing and dancing is ARMY. Since his early days in BTS, he has linked his energy to the stage and fandom. Yet that was twisted, as if he were ignoring those close to him, when he was clearly speaking about professional drive. The situation worsened when the live was deleted. Without the full video, only clips and partial translations remained. Nuance disappeared. Tone vanished. Jokes sounded serious. Reflections seemed defensive. In that space, wild narratives grew. But viewed as a whole, the message was simple. He quit a harmful habit for his career. He wants to improve for ARMY. He wants to be honest within the limits of being a contracted artist. He lives in a system with rules. There was no real scandal, only magnification and loss of context. In K-pop, something ordinary can become controversy within hours. The issue wasn't what he said, but how some chose to interpret it. Through it all, one thing remains clear: he chose honesty. And in an industry that demands a perfect mask, honesty is the bravest act. Maybe one day he'll say everything. Maybe after contracts end. Maybe when he feels safe. Or maybe never. And if that's what he chooses, that is valid. Because behind the global name Jungkook, there is a human being who deserves privacy, boundaries, and his own time to speak. I can't say everything. That isn't weakness. It's a boundary. And perhaps that was the most genuine honesty of that entire live.